Hello, y'all. I was going to keep this a secret, but just so you know, I guess for my own sake of accountability, in my brain, I say to myself that, especially now with this new season, I have to record. I have to have an episode out to you guys by Monday. For if you've ever seen the backdrop in my one of the little picture frames in my place says consists of consistency. I've been striving for consistency for a very long time. So I'm here recording. Your girl is here recording. If you're watching this on YouTube, here with the hoodie. At least I still have some work makeup on so I could come with a correct face for you guys. And hopefully knowing you would love me even if I came here with a makeup-free face. But anyways, let's get into it. I am so glad to welcome you back to Talking Stories, the show where we chat about what's in the news, culture, and stories that inspire change. My name is Raquel Russell, and I am so glad that you're here. Make sure to grab your tea, your water, turn up the volume, and let's get started. So welcome back, guys. Today I don't have a drink with me. It's kind of late, and if I drink like water tea right now, it's not going to be a good idea for me. And Lucy still needs to be walked. If you're listening for the first time, I'm a multimedia storyteller with experience as a writer, communications professional, journalist, content creator, and podcaster. I'm a first generation Canadian of Jamaican descent. And my life and my work has really continued to shape my love for storytelling. It impacts all areas of my life, whether it's spirituality, whether it's aspirations and goals. Like, storytelling is a core of who I am. So I hope that if you're someone who loves stories, if you love hearing about news and updates, I hope that this becomes a place of home for you. Whether I'm talking about something you have no idea about, if I get on a Star Wars rant, don't mind it. Just stay. We are home for you. I hope that we'll be friends. And if there's one thing that you can do for this podcast is please review. I'm looking for a review. Will you be the first one? Review the podcast, follow us on social media, and feel free to watch this podcast on YouTube as well. We put the videos there. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who listened last week. And for everyone who engaged with, we actually put a clip out last week from episode the week before this last week's episode, and it was about it was just a call about like what we want to be remembered for, and some of the responses were just so heartwarming and beautiful. So thank you to all of you who took some time and shared some of the things that you want to be remembered for. I'm keeping that as a keepsake, and it was just so beautiful to see. Like, as human beings, we just continue to want better for ourselves and those around us. So thank you again for sharing. So every week you come here, if you're here, you know the drill. We talk about some highlights that are in the news. I will go on my fandom bender and share some fandom news, but also talk about things that are happening in the world of storytelling, things that have inspired me, personal updates, and I hope that you continue to enjoy. So first thing that I want to say, because I don't think I said it last week, is Happy November. It is November, daylight savings has happened, and it is officially dark. It starts getting dark I think I walked out of work today. It was like 5 o'clock and it was dark. Like, there was clouds in the sky. And I'm going to be honest, when I was sitting on the highway and just looking at how dark it was, it's like, okay, I really need to up my vitamin D. I really need to make sure that I have my Christmas playlist ready to go, because as much as I'm someone who I do enjoy winter more for the snow. And let me be clear, because I have friends that do not understand this, but I enjoy winter because the bugs are dead. There are no bees, there are no wasps, there is nothing flying and attacking me. I don't have to watch every door and worry about a bee coming in to attack me. Winter is blessed. There's no critters. It's great. What I don't like about winter is the darkness. Does not help my brain, but it is what it is. We thank God for lots of things that just keep me sane. And what is keeping you sane, honestly? What do you do to manage, some of the quote unquote winter blues? I would love to hear. Feel free to send me a DM or comment on YouTube if that's where you're watching. So yes, happy November. It is a new month. We are rumbling right through to the end of 2022. And these kind of months make me reflective. They make me want to, catch the bull by the horns and be really intentional about what I'm doing. I've long wanted to cut out sugar. I've been working towards continuing to cut it out. Honestly, more for like I have scalp issues where sugar triggers it. But just trying to make sure that I'm being intentional in these last days of the year. I know the days are just a number, but for me and maybe for you, having those months and those years as markers help me to keep track of the progress that I'm making and things that are being done. Some other personal life date updates. I'm experiencing a lot of change in my life, and with that, I'm definitely struggling a bit, just to be transparent and honest with y'all, with a bit of I guess quote unquote anxiety. Like, oh my goodness, it's just for several weeks I've been struggling with that and just trying to pace myself and do the mindfulness practices that I know work best for me. Some days are better than others. Right now I'm okay, to be honest, but I can still feel the tightness in my shoulders. Had a Yeah, it's every day it's a new thing, and I hope that you also manage anything like that you're experiencing. I wanted to share, I tried this speed dating thing. Was it speed dating? I think it's technically called speed datings. The site's called Couples. If you are single and you're dating and you're wanting to find a different experience in these dating apps, try it out. They had a meetup. If you're in Toronto, actually, if you're anywhere, you can go on the meetup app and they have like these virtual dating nights. It was actually very fun. I met a lot of different people. I think I went on 30 dates, quote unquote dates, where you talk to someone for about 3 minutes, you get to know them really quickly. If you like them, then you can make a note to connect, or someone you see as a potential couple. If you're not interested, you say cut. And I found that it was a much more rewarding experience than the dating apps. And the dating apps are just an interesting place to be because in some respects, I like dating apps because you can like kind of quantify, write down exactly what you're looking for. And if you want to pay the extra money, you can filter down to exactly what you're looking for. But even when you find the people that you're exactly looking for, sometimes the conversation, I don't know about you, but the conversation just isn't popping. It's stagnant, and it's not to blame anyone because people are busy. I know for me, between my different jobs, I'll say hi, and honestly, it's enough trying to keep up with the people that pay me to keep up with everything else. It's hard. Dating apps are hard. So I'm not blaming anyone or the other, but this experience was amazing because you had to focus on the other person, ask them questions, get to know them. So if you're someone who's dating, single, you're trying to find, the love of your life, maybe just a date, I would suggest trying out Couples. This is not an ad, I swear, but I thought it was fun. It was a good experience for me. And I enjoyed it. And I'll probably do it again. Other life updates. I started this class about managing money. As we all know, or if maybe you're listening to this 2 years from now and you don't know, right now in November 2022, it's a lot of discussion about the recession, the economy taking a hit, uh, lots of speculation about what's going to happen financially in Canada, around the world. And I mean, I signed up for this class way before this conversation started. So, but I'm very glad to be doing it right now, where I'm working amongst a bunch of other women to talk about finances and different things that are available to you. Like, there's so many tools that I didn't know were financially available to me. And it's just putting yourself in the different environments where you can learn about these things. Like, even my friend just the other day was talking about sole proprietorships, and I didn't realize that I was leaving money on the table by not having one and being a freelancer, in addition to the other work that I do. So if you're listening to this and you are a freelancer, like you're doing a lot of work and that's bringing in substantial income, I would definitely consider looking into that. Feel free to message me if you want to know a little bit more about my experiences. I'm also happy to talk about it some more, but that's not necessarily storytelling. That's in the life updates part. But if you're interested, feel free to hit me up. So that's enough time spent there on personal updates. Let me know how you're doing. I would really love to hear it. I'm going to pivot a little bit now into some news updates. Okay, today is Monday, November the 7th. And as of today, this Elon Musk takeover of Twitter, the news just continues to be, I don't want to say it's not dire, it's so chaotic. It is so chaotic, y'all, by this. So at this point now, Twitter is actually putting up ads to rehire some of the people that they fired in their 50% layoffs at the company. It's a mess. Like, people that are needed to actually run the app, the experience, let go, now being rehired. Mr. Musk is on Twitter going back and forth with people, and I recognize I'm new. I wouldn't say new. I am not a Elon Musk stan. I know there are people who stan him as the, now CEO of Tesla. It's only a couple of months ago that I learned that he didn't actually create Tesla. The cult of personality is real. I thought this man is the one who was the brainchild behind it, and he's not. But I guess, anyways, there's been a lot of conversation happening on Twitter, seeing people leaving the app, getting onto this platform called Mastodon. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. I myself have an account there. You can follow me, RAQ Lion Chaser. But I think there's a lot of scrambling, and obviously people are concerned because this acquisition, this changing of hands has happened before the US midterm elections, which is happening on Tuesday, November 8th, tomorrow. And Twitter has been such a source of information for so many people. I know for me, Twitter is literally my newspaper in the morning. I wake up and I go through all the headlines. I'm also a social media manager, if you don't already know, but I go through the headlines. I see what's going on, what people are talking about, all of my favorite news sites. I follow them and get quick updates from them and around the world. So I can understand why people are very concerned about the concern about misinformation on Twitter, letting on voices who could be bad actors and like spreading false information. And you get the sense, even outside of the acquisition, there's just a grief in watching the people who helped build Twitter itself on Twitter mourning, like grieving the experience of being let go in this way. People not sure, where their benefits are going to come from. Pregnant women. You're just seeing it's a lot to take in. And if you're anyone who like feels very empathetic for people, like you sit there and you kind of just envelop all of that emotion and stress and worry. And if you live in Ontario, we just had a strike that was going on with the teachers union CUPE, and it's only now that they're back at the bargaining table after the premier withdrew his bill that he put in to make striking illegal. But I just mentioned that not to get in depth on that story, but just to say there's a lot that's happening right now, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, obviously. So I think just a note, even when I share these updates, that I hope you are taking time to not touch grass, but be outside, be with people you love, take in things that are also bringing you joy. Last thing that I'll know on the Elon Musk thing is the fact that it was interesting to see Jack Dorsey actually get on Twitter. Jack Dorsey, obviously the creator of Twitter, get on and share an apology to first his work colleagues and to just them feeling like he, let them down, and saying that he let them down. And some people took the apology, some didn't. But it's just been interesting to see all of these pieces play out. The last update that I want to get into in terms of general news is Drake. Drake has a new album out. And in this album, keep in mind, okay, this is me just reporting what I'm hearing. I have not listened to the album as a whole, but I have read the line that is that is making the rounds. And from what I hear from folks, the album was pretty good until they got to this point. In this new song that he puts out called Circo Loco, he says the line, "This bleep lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion." He is obviously, like anyone who's paying attention to news, pop culture, referring to the fact that Megan Thee Stallion alleged that Tory Lanez had shot her. Alleged. I think I have to say that legally. I'm not big enough for anyone to care, but he's saying that she's a liar. This man, every time I hear about him talking about a Black woman, it always seems to be disparaging. And I really hope that someone comes in his life and brings this man together, because he does not need to be doing that. But switching over into some light fandom news that I'm really excited about. So as you all know, I talked about the fact that Black Panther is coming out technically this Thursday night. I am so excited to see this. The new Black Panther, the new Black Panther is titled Wakanda Forever. It's going to be, looks like it's going to be led by Letitia Wright. The way that it's described is that Queen Ramonda, Shuri, Mbaku, Okoye, and the Dora Milaje are fighting to protect their nation from intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. Rest in peace, Chadwick. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their next chapter, the heroes must band together with Nakia and Everett Ross Watson, or Martin Freeman, to forge a new path for their beloved kingdom. As I said, I think last week, I'm ready for the tears to fall in this movie. But outside of that, what I'm hoping to see is a clear path forward, like for the Marvel universe. We're starting to see a lot of stuff shaping up for the next phase. For those of you who might not be familiar, Marvel kind of tells their stories in bunches of chunks. We know that the next chunk coming up is leading to this intergalactic fight, and there's a new villain shaping up, King the Conqueror. But what I am very excited to see with Black Panther is I feel like this is where the emotional anchor is going to be, especially as a world. People who admired Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa admire Chadwick Boseman, period. We're going to be able to have a collective grief, like outside of everything that we experienced a couple of years ago, but like in this film, saying goodbye to this iteration of the character, seeing what Ryan's amazing, beautiful mind puts out there for this chapter going forward. I'm really expecting to see a standout performance by Angela Bassett, per usual. We're seeing some comments coming out like this could be an Oscar nom for her. I'm very looking forward to obviously seeing Mbaku. Yes, Winston, you're fine. But just seeing how they're able to take us to the next level in the Marvel universe. There's a lot of people who say that there is a superhero fatigue and that people are over superheroes. I believe it's Stephen Colbert who said that superheroes are like our Greek heroes of this age. And I honestly don't disagree with him. You can say all you want that people are tired of superheroes, but they continue to go and see these movies. And I think what I know about superheroes is that they bring out the best in what we can be. And in a time when people are seeing folks at their worst, and a lot of bad news everywhere, to be able to escape into those kinds of worlds brings such hope and optimism. And I can't say that I will ever be completely disconnected from it. I think it is fair for me to say I might not be as connected to intense fandom the way I might have been a couple of years ago, but I do still consider myself living and breathing a lot of these characters and their stories and the impact that they make. I'm so excited to see how people receive this new iteration or this new installment in this huge legacy of superhero storytelling. So what are you interested to see? If you're going to see Black Panther, let me know. I'm very looking forward to chatting with my friend, the amazing Vivian. She is going to be chatting with me on Talking Stories, and we're going to talk about our experience watching the film, what emotions it evoked for us. So make sure to tune into the next episode. You do not want to miss it. Finally, as I said last week, I was going to come back and chat a little bit more about the film Respect. So just to remind you, if you missed it, Respect is a film that came out last year, starring Jennifer Hudson. It followed the rise of Aretha Franklin's career from a child singing in her father's church choir to her international superstardom. It is the remarkable true story of the music icon's journey to find her voice. Respect, when I think about this movie, I feel an immense gratitude to the storytellers and the way that they portrayed it. Some of the key folks that I also wanted to mention that star in this beautiful film include the amazing Forest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, Audra McDonald, Mark Maron, Mary J. Blige makes her perform in Titus. Like, it's such a, I believe, beautiful reflection of the amazing voice and the tenacity that Aretha Franklin carried. I thought I was familiar with her story, but I realized I had only done some quick wikis to learn a little bit more about her early life when she passed away a couple of years ago. And one of the things I remember reading when she passed was the abuse that she suffered, the fact that she had children, I believe is at the age of 12. And I read those facts, and I do remember being disturbed, but I don't think it hit as hard until we watched the film. I watched the film with my family members, some of them. And when I tell you, like, even now, like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, and I'm just trying to make sure to just chill out. Obviously, it's not something to just chill out about, but seeing there was a care in the way that they told the story about the fact that she, you know, and I'll say raped because you're a child, you can't consent, to the fact that she ended up having these children and still just kept going and struggled with addiction, struggled with abuse in her married life later on. Like, I had a visceral angry reaction to it. I can't even lie. So I will say, if you're someone, if this is the kind of troubling material for you, to be careful and take some care in watching it. But it made me just stand more in awe of what this woman was able to get through. And it made me angry on her behalf, seeing the fact that it didn't seem like this man was like, it didn't seem like there was enough care taken, specifically when in her funeral. When we talk about if you remember watching the funeral, the preacher talked about, women. Watching Respect made me appreciate much more her legacy as a civil rights icon. I, again, read about her involvement, but didn't realize just how connected she was to this universe, the relationships that she had, the family friendship with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And to see all of that legacy, and then to reflect back on her funeral, when I cannot forget the minister who decided it was his time to go on some rant about, oh, blacks killing blacks and children living without their fathers. This man did not eulogize her. He did not honor her. And to see that even in her death, she experienced disrespect from a man in the pulpit. So honestly thinking not even thinking, it did bring up some anger, some things that I've experienced, and some frustrations I've had about women's experiences in quote unquote church Christian spaces. And I just pray that she's resting in peace. And honestly, all the flowers to Jennifer Hudson for her portrayal of Aretha Franklin. It was inspiring. It was beautiful, and I've loved Jennifer Hudson since Dreamgirls. She's been my girl, and this role just was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tribute to the life of Aretha Franklin. So I enjoyed the film. At one point, I thought they might have sanitized some stuff a little bit too much, but honestly, her story is so full of hardships, obviously, but I think they did it in a tasteful way, or not a tasteful way. I think they told the story in a way that got across the hardships that she went through, but also gave you an opportunity to see into what brought her joy. Even as I rant a little bit about the experiences that she experienced from men in Christian church spaces, it was church and these spaces that was also solitude for her. It was also her saving grace. So yeah, I really enjoyed Respect. And that's a story, if you're looking for getting to know a little bit more about the life of Aretha Franklin through this lens, I would definitely recommend watching the film. And finally, I'm probably going to get into this. I've been talking about wanting to talk about this for years, but for me, it's a special anniversary. 2022 is going to mark 10 years since I went on this really unique experience in the United States. I lived there for a year, and I was part of a Christian leadership internship that really shaped the way that uh, I saw a lot of things afterwards. It was an interesting experience. I've gone through therapy and talked about it. I've journaled a lot about it, but I just wanted to drop it and say that this is something that I'll probably be talking about in a couple of episodes later from now. We have some more interviews coming up, but don't be surprised, because then next year will be 2023 will be 10 years since I left the Honor Academy, since I finished with the Honor Academy, which is the name of the internship that I went to. So yeah, just to give you a little bit of a taste of what's to come. Also, we have the conversation happening with Vivian coming up this week, and I'm looking forward to doing some more special interviews for you all. And that is how we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you again. If you enjoyed, please let me know. Send a review, like, comment, subscribe, share. If there's someone that's inspired you and you would like me to shout them out, I would love to. Please send me their name and any message that you'd love me to share. If there's any news or stories that you'd like to get my thoughts on, let me know, and I look forward to covering it. So I'm signing out from Toronto. It's Raquel Russell. Thanks again for listening. And as always, I'm rooting for you, especially in these daylight savings months. I'm rooting for you always, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.